I'll never forget on Oprah years and years and years ago in the 90s, they said something about self-care and everyone in the audience booed because they thought it would be considered selfish if you actually cared for yourself first. So it's just amazing that we have the opportunity now to really take care of ourselves and see how beautiful that ripples out into our network and community.
Hey everybody, Dr. Josh Axe here. Welcome to the Dr. Axe Show. Today I have two guests with me that I am super excited to have in town. Lindsey and Krista, they are known as the almost 30 girls, women.
Yes.
Just almost 30, all of them. And I'm excited to have you guys here today.
We're so excited.
We got a couple Midwesterners with me. I grew up in Ohio. I know Krista grew up in Ohio. We got Lindsey here from Pennsylvania. And today we're going to be talking about fitness. We're going to be talking about nutrition and hearing a little bit of their personal stories. And one of the things I love so much about you guys is you guys have done such an amazing job of, I think, being accessible to your audience, being transparent, and really being real. I mean, that's one of the things I can appreciate so much about what you guys teach is because a lot of times, I'll have doctors on the show and people who are really knowledgeable, and sometimes the things are very, sometimes difficult. And the thing I love about you guys is really being able to share your personal mission, the struggles you guys have had as well. I know we're going to get into that today, but excited to have you guys here.
Thank you.
We're so pumped. And I think being from Ohio, like you, it really helps you to have that. I know nothing but being really honest and upfront, and our Midwest roots really provide that. So we're really excited to be here. We had such a great interview with you on our show. It was one of our most popular interviews. We talked about keto, hormone health,
That's
all
right.
of the things, and tonight will be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So stoked. All right. So one of the things I wanted to start off talking about is trends. So I know, and I see weekly, especially on Instagram, I follow you. You guys are always posting.
What are you saying, Josh?
You guys are always posting. You guys cover a lot of different trends and see a lot of the different trends out there. I'd love to hear from you guys. Most recently, what are some of the trends that you guys are in love with, and some trends you're saying, yeah, I don't know if that's it, or I'm not buying in.
Totally. The thing about being in LA, it's so funny. We are bombarded with every single trend, both exercise, nutrition, lifestyle, what have you, and it's quite overwhelming. So we like to be the guinea pigs in a sense where we'll try anything, but we also want to be really honest about what works for us, and what works for us might not work for everyone. So right now, I'm coming off of being a fitness instructor for many years, overworking my body, having my adrenals completely shot. So I am loving a really slow, intentional workout. So that means walking, yoga, Pilates, and heavy lifting. I really like it's almost like it's meditative in a way. And my body is responding really, really well, which I didn't expect because overdoing cardio for many years, I was scared not to do that, worried that my body would, I would gain weight or whatever. And it's been really nice to see that I can be slow, intentional, and strong at the same time and get the results that I want. And then in terms of nutrition, I don't like to follow any particular diet. I've been trying to be just intuitive about what my body needs, and that does change. So I am mainly plant-based, but I do eat meat and I listen to my body when I need it. So, the carnivore diet kind of scares us in a way. I don't know if that's going to be good in the long run.
Yeah,
because I know how I feel when I eat a ton of meat consistently, and it's really hard for my body in particular to process. So that's something I'm just staying away from, but I've always felt really good being mainly plant-based. It just feels really clean and clear to me, and Krista's a vegan, so it's really helped to, learn from one another, and when we're on the road, we're plant-based. So I stick to that for the most part.
So yes, too, you love the plant-based movement.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a huge fan of the just, eating pure meat all the time sort of plan.
I definitely have, red meat probably once a week, and then I'll have like wild fish twice a week, and then plant-based the rest of the time. And that feels good to me, although I am still learning, because I think There are some parts of my diet routine where I'm under eating a little bit and I don't realize it, and not getting enough animal protein.
Sure.
So I'm learning in real time what that means for me.
Yeah, I love the intuitive eating and listening to your body. And I think that's something to where at first that can be hard, but over time, I think as you see what works for you, that's the thing I feel so strongly about is there's not one diet for everybody. And I think being able to listen to your body and your individual needs. And sometimes that's being intuitive and listening to your body. Sometimes having, whether it's an acupuncturist or somebody who knows or can tell, hey, you're a little deficient in this, or hey, you need to eat some blood building foods, or we need to get a little bit more B vitamins or whatever it is. But I think I wish everybody was more intuitive and about what they're eating. And sometimes I think I look at this, like sometimes when people are craving sweet, it's your body saying, I need some cinnamon and sweet potatoes. It's not ice cream. But, if you're conscious and smart like you are and saying, my body's saying I need something sweet, but I'm going to do these healthy forms of sweet that I know my body's actually telling me, then it really works, especially when you guys are educated and as smart as you are. So I love that. It's great. How about you, Krista?
Yeah, and for me, living in LA has been interesting because I am very trend-based normally. So when I was in Chicago and living in New York, I found myself following most of the trends that were happening, whether that was high-intensity workouts, trying keto for a little bit. Being vegan, I've been for a long time. We have friends that, someone just told me the other day she's doing bee sting therapy for hormone balancing. So she's keeping bees at her house and going to sting herself to balance her hormones. So we have so much access to all these crazy things. And at the beginning, I would do things and share them very quickly with our community. But I realized that I need to be much more thoughtful and intentional with what I'm sharing. So now after, probably a period in time where I was sharing about something too soon before fully vetting it, there was like a center we were going for body work. And we started to share a little bit too quickly about the benefits and it being really great for us before fully going through the programming. And with that, I really realized that we need to be really thoughtful and intentional because we do have a responsibility to our audience, as much as that can be frustrating at times that everyone's watching you and what you're doing. I really take that personally. So now I have to really go through the trend, think about it, feel it, do it before I share it with people. But some of the things I'm really liking and what I've noticed as far as it relates to the trends is my focus now is really knowing myself and really just getting in tune with who I am, being a soul within a body, and then whatever trends I'm attracting or whatever practices I'm doing within my life are so much easier and clearer. It just makes my path with, so many things going on in LA like easier to navigate, and then I'm more able to clearly communicate that to our audience. I did a silent retreat 2 weeks ago for 5 days. That's going to be a trend soon. People are going to be doing silent retreats where they're detoxing off their phones, where they're silent, where they don't have any social media soon. So I feel like that was a trend that I did 2 weeks ago that will be happening across, the next couple weeks.
I love that trend. Again, we look at, I was interviewing a guy named Dr. Alejandro Younger, and the guy's a great, you guys may know him. He's out in LA, and him and I were talking about this in terms of toxicity, not just the toxicity of environmental pollutants and household toxins and skincare products and all the toxins in our food supply. I mean, there's a lot of sources, but the toxicity of negative emotions and the toxicity of even things from mobile devices, when we're flipping through, I actually did this recently on Instagram, and I haven't talked to my team as much about this, but like personally, like when I'm flipping through Instagram, like for me, it's not healthy for me to be, I'm just being real transparent, like looking at half naked people. It's not something I want to do. Yeah. So I muted a lot of people that, hey, are in the industry. And I understand why, hey, maybe my team and other people, we followed them over the years because, hey, they're in the health and fitness industry. But I unfollowed them. I started following actually a lot more people where it's a lot more spiritual and mental positivity and really just looking at what am I putting in myself, what am I exposing myself to on a regular basis. But the term of what you were talking about too, retreats of silence and unplugging from technology. I mean, it's so powerful, and you guys have probably read about Bill Gates and some other people. They have their kids like do fasts from technology. So anyways, I just love that. Yeah. So great.
Yeah, it was one of the most powerful things because I didn't realize how much my life is really just consuming. I'm in my email all the time. My phone is pure consumption, all input in. And there wasn't a period in time where I stopped all the inputs. And that's even related to what you were talking about, toxins in the food, EMFs, being in nature. There was a lot that was released outside of just social and inputs related to work that I was able to really clear and just kind of dig in deep. So it was just really powerful. And, even if people can take a break from social for a few days, it really does matter. I think, people kind of have the diet mentality with it where they can take a break off the weekend. They're not going to be on the phone for 2 days. And it over time, if we're on our phone for the rest of our life, it can be challenging. But I think it does help in the end, with your body, mentally, physically, and emotionally.
And I think getting over that hump of, because 2 days can be cool over a weekend, you're a little bit distracted with more fun activities. But if you can challenge yourself, I think, what you did at the retreat or even during the week, where you get over that hump, where that you have that feeling of, oh my God, like, why do I feel the need to go back on there to fulfill what? And it just becomes a time of self-reflection, where you can really ask yourself, like, what am I getting when I go on? What am I not getting? What is it taking away from me? It's a really beautiful opportunity to plug into other things. So if you're feeling like maybe my relationships need a little more love, maybe connecting with nature would really fill me up. So plugging into that, almost like that other grid, that we don't really think about that much, that really is where we come from. We weren't born out of technology, right? Like, unless I guess you were a little IVF baby, but it's like we were born of this earth and nature. So I think reconnecting with that has been so beneficial and healing for us because it's a part of our job to be plugged in. So it's really nice to balance it out.
Yeah, I think about this. Chelsea and I have a we'll go down to Florida. We have a place down there with her parents, and it's right by the beach. And so, there's something about, and I think everyone's experienced this. Anytime we get there, the first thing we do is we go down the ocean and we just walk on the sand and listen to the ocean waves. And you can tell just something for your soul and something for your emotional and mental state. It's just soothing. It's a similar thing. Like if you go out and walk in nature and just listen to the, whether it's the birds or the bugs chirping and that sort of thing. And it's interesting. I don't know if you guys have, I'm sure you guys have probably had people on your podcast before maybe talking about this, but even the frequencies of sound, there's different frequencies such as theta, which is more sort of relaxing, and we know we've got delta and some others, which is sort of like our REM sleep. Anyways, all that being said, but the sound waves made of rain and the sound waves of the ocean are similar in terms of they're getting you in this more of the state of this calm state. It totally drops your stress hormones and your cortisol. So I just love this. This actually, of all the trends that we're probably talking about, it's the one that I get most excited about because I think from a standpoint of somebody being able to heal as well, almost any physical illness, it's a really powerful treatment.
Yeah, and I think the importance too is accessibility. I'm hopeful that people live in a space where they could have access to nature, where they can get outside. There's a lot of people that are listening in cities. We live in a big city in LA, but we do make it a point to try our best to get in nature as much as we can. And when we think about trends, and that, we now think about too the accessibility of those trends to people. So for a period in time, we went through or I personally went through where I was doing trends that were more expensive, and they probably weren't accessible to a lot of our audience. Expensive classes, expensive treatments, expensive healers, whatever. And now we've really gone through that period and we've stripped it down to things like clean water. I'm hopeful everyone can have really, really high quality clean water. Being in nature, I'm hopeful people can, get their feet in the ground, have their negative ions pulled out of their feet, hear the beautiful sounds that are healing in nature, get the air, fresh air, all of that. And meditation, which is also free, that they can do. And there's just things that are really important to basic health that seem kind of like they're not trends, but they're really the most important things and are foundational to our health.
One of the things that I would love to hear from both of you, because I think that anytime there's ways different people learn. Sometimes it's through facts, sometimes it's through learning themselves, sometimes it's learning through other people. And so I know specifically, you, Lindsey, and we can jump into you, Krista, as well. But would love to hear from you guys. maybe an experience you guys had or something you learned that maybe we can communicate this to the audience in terms of what is a health battle or mental battle that you've overcome in the past, whatever it is, 5 years, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, I was teaching fitness for about 5 years. I started in New York, and New York was a place for me where I always felt depleted. So I was bartending at night until 4 a.m., 5 days a week. And then I would get a few hours of sleep, wake up to audition for whatever I was auditioning for. And I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was drinking a lot. I wasn't nourishing my body with foods that, would give me energy and heal my body. And I was engaging in relationships that really weren't good for my soul. So I was feeling very disconnected in a city that was really chaotic. And so I found SoulCycle, and that did give me somewhat of a purpose and path, but it continued to wreak havoc on my body. So I was still drinking. I was not nourishing my body. And then on top of that, I was teaching 15 classes a week. And so what started to happen was this breakdown started with my voice. I developed vocal notes. So when you splash alcohol on your vocal nodes and you dehydrate and poison your body, something's going to happen, especially if you're on top of that screaming in SoulCycle or talking to people over loud music at a bar. And then my skin started to freak out as well. So, that was a combination of lack of sleep, hormones were all over the place. And so I was searching for answers and not really tuning into my body. So the big lesson overall is I started to tune into my body, and that started to happen when I moved out to LA. And I do think SoulCycle moved me out to LA to kind of tie that together, but I was able to find more space and actually hear what I needed. And it wasn't about asking other people and, doing the programs and all of this, although I did, bring in, holistic doctors and things like that. But I really tuned in, and the message was so clear. It was about simplifying. It was about recovery. It was about, lessening the intake of alcohol was a huge, huge piece. And naturally, I healed my voice. If you listen to early episodes of our podcast, I didn't have a voice. And then I started to heal my voice. And it's completely changed my life because I sing. So it's a part of me. And so I lost that for a long time. And then, with SoulCycle, I did teach for 4 years, but I was able to tune in and understand how to eat around my workouts and how to recover. I recover when I'm alone. So I was teaching to a lot of people and around a lot of people all the time. So I needed to understand and accept that I get energy from being alone, being in nature, taking that time by myself so that I can give more when I'm with other people. And for a long time, I thought that was weird, and I thought I should be more social in that way, but it's really just who I am. So it was cool because I saw my body respond. I stopped holding on. I was never overweight, but I would hold on to little pockets of fat, I guess you would call it, because my body was so stressed out. And it was like, are you going to take care of me? Because I'm going to hold on to this if you don't. Yeah. Like, what's happening? I don't know what your next step is going to be. So it was a matter of, slowing down, recovering, knowing what's best for my body, listening to my body, and really just telling my body that it's okay, giving it things that were predictable enough where it knew it didn't have to be in this like fight or flight mode all the time. Yeah.
It's interesting because, and I know we've talked about this before and I'm trying to recall, but when I look at you and hear what you're talking about, and if I'm diagnosing you in Chinese medicine, it's very much, you're wired as a wood element. Mm-hmm. And so essentially that means you tend to be a visionary and a leader and a planner. You like planning, typically that's what we'd see. And then what you're discussing, it's a lot of liver adrenal issues. And, you heal those areas through adrenals. It's taking time off liver. It's getting out in nature. I mean, it's the most healing thing to your liver, gallbladder, or organ system. So anyways, I love hearing that and love hearing that story because, I mean, so many people today, and I'm sure a lot of the people that you guys are consistently talking to in your audience, one of the top words that I hear from a lot of, especially young women or women in their 20s and 30s, is the word overwhelmed. Overwhelmed, exhausted. I mean, has that been your experience? A lot of people that follow you?
Absolutely. And I feel like we talk to a lot of our girls in our community, and it's like they feel the need to keep it together. Mm-hmm. And it's really beautiful when we are able to create a space to have these conversations, because it's almost like they relax and let go and are able to say, like, I'm going through this. And like it's like as if they hadn't talked about it to anyone. And as women, I just feel like we feel the need to nurture and take care of others just intuitively and by nature. So yeah, I do think it's affecting us physically for sure.
Yeah. And I think we've seen too, it's been so beautiful to see the entrepreneurial trend rise, especially with women. But I feel like in a lot of ways, it's now pressuring women to have a full 9 to 5 and then also do something on the side.
Yeah.
And so I think we've really seen that. That was what I did for 2 years growing the business, and it was really unhealthy. But it's a beautiful and amazing thing because you can, pursue your passion and have multiple interests. But sometimes I do find it to be detrimental because women are putting so much pressure on themselves.
Yeah, I know it's a good point. Like my mom growing up, was a teacher. She taught special ed. At first she taught phys ed, and then she moved over and taught special ed. And then she was driving us to soccer and basketball practice. She was cleaning. She made food every night. I mean, I'm kind of like, but it led to my mom to having cancer at 40 years old, hypothyroidism. She was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, all of these massive health problems over time, and eventually diagnosed with cancer again. And then we finally said, hey, it's time for a change, and she started riding horses again, which she loved. She started juicing vegetables. She started, really taking care of herself, and it saved her life, and her health radically changed. And she says she feels better now in her 60s than she did in her 30s. But all that being said, I mean, I know because I grew up with that, a mom who was overwhelmed, physically exhausted. And that's why I love what you guys do so much too, is being able to really speak to women where they're at, and some men, but also really helping those people realize it's okay. Your ultimate value in life is not how much money you make and how much fame you have. It's about how much you're loving others and the great relationships you have. And there's just so much more than that. So I love what you guys do.
Yeah, I feel lucky too. My mom was in the similar generation. And I feel lucky that our generation is kind of turning around on that and looking at self-care, looking at slowing down now. It's still a season of burnout, but I feel like we're kind of turning a corner there, and we're really prioritizing slowing down, rest, and just taking care of ourselves. Because I feel so much compassion for my mom's generation and the women of that generation who were told basically you give up your life for your kids, you live for others, you don't take care of yourself, that is selfish. I'll never forget on Oprah years and years and years ago in the 90s, they said something about self-care and everyone in the audience booed because they thought it would be considered selfish if you actually cared for yourself first. So it's just amazing that we have the opportunity now to really take care of ourselves and see how beautiful that ripples out into our network and community.
Yeah, one of the things, and not to create some controversy here, but just to say this, one of the things I do sing is sometimes it's being swung too far in the other direction, unfortunately.
Totally.
But I do, but I agree with you. There needs to be that balance. There needs to be that centeredness, which it's just hard for people to have, but it's but it's important. So
I think when it becomes a chore, like if people are making, like, we love a self-care checklist, but I think like the act of checking off is also feeding that side of you that needs to complete something, or I don't know what that side of you might be, but it's an interesting thing to think about, because what if it's just more space and time? And I think it does feel that need to be doing something always. And we've been really trying to be more intentional about not scheduling every single moment, not having appointments every single day, because I don't know if that's going to be healthy in the long term.
I read a great book recently. I'm trying to remember the name of the author. The book's called Margin. It's by a medical doctor. And he really talks about the health and the benefits of having just margin in your week, which means you don't have something scheduled every second of every day. And he talks a lot about, too, just being a neighbor, like connecting with people around you. Are you having real time of presence and connection with people? Because ultimately, I know for myself in life, and he talks about in the book, is our life's most meaningful moments tend to happen not necessarily when you achieve a certain success. It's when you have something that you experience together with another person. It's this relational thing that happens, an experience you have happen with someone else. But he just talks about really almost scheduling in time to do nothing, or scheduling margin in your life to be able to connect with others, or have an adventure, just do something random. So anyways, it's
I love that. I love that, the neighborly thing too. And I know the book on the blue zones, everything about the blue zones, that was something that really surprised me, was the emphasis on community and the importance of having that tribal community around you and its benefits on your overall health, leading to, being a blue zone.
Yeah, it's interesting. As we talked about technology earlier and how disconnected people are from the actual people they are around them because of, you may have a digital relationship with somebody across the country, but you have an actual meaningful relationship with someone who's sitting across from you. But yeah, I know. It's interesting. I'd love to hear from you guys now. So you guys travel a lot, or a fair amount, right? I know you guys are here in Nashville, which I just love you guys are here. It's so great. And you guys put on some events and like to have fun and travel. How do you guys stay healthy when you're traveling?
I think this is something that comes and goes. Sometimes I find it more challenging than others because we're always at events and we're always around treats and amazing things. But I'm kind of just getting in the groove now. And one thing that I've really been prioritizing is walking. So I'm really prioritizing walking. I've been getting, my 10K steps recently. And I use that just as a general idea and marker of how I'm doing. But when we're on the plane so much, it's so important to stretch and move. And sometimes even in the plane bathroom, I will jump up and down just to get my blood and my lymph moving a little bit. I'll kind of shake out my body and really just do more intuitive movements, even if it looks dumb, even if it looks silly at the airport, in the plane bathroom, when we're on the go, for my body. And then we have a really good time finding classes wherever we are.
Yeah.
It's a really great way to experience the community, to be a part of the community, to see, how everyone interacts. I did a great class this morning and I just felt so much love for all the women that were there and a part of it. And it really gave me just a great taste in my mouth for the people that are here.
Now, what did you guys do this morning in Nashville?
Did Bar 3.
Oh, yeah. That's great. So you guys are in the Gulch here in Nashville? Yeah. That's a great area.
Yeah.
We love that.
I did Bar 3 and it was a blast. It was so fun and got my blood moving. And then as a last thing, now I'm just way kinder. I think that there was a real period in time where we would travel and I would always make sure to be traveling, to do the HIIT workouts, to be eating a certain way, whatever. Now that I've let myself really go with the flow as far as doing a workout when it feels good, walking as a priority, eating really well most of the time, it just feels so much better. And I'm able to not focus on it as much and just let myself really be enjoying this, because I'm living my dream right now and I need to actually enjoy it. So many people, if they would actually say to themselves what they're doing right now, they'd be so impressed, but they don't enjoy that moment and they're too busy focused on, I shouldn't be eating that food, I should be working out, or I should be doing those things. And I'm saying that as someone that has done that for a very long time. So now being at a point in time where I'm trying to be present enough, and that's the main priority. And then all the other things usually fall into place really beautifully.
Wow.
And in addition to that, we really get our 8 hours or more of sleep every single night.
Sleep is life.
Sleep is life. No shame in that game, because it is a lot of energy to connect with people in a good way. We get just as much back, but I just want to be able to be so present without thinking about how tired I am or have my mind wander. So that's really been a game changer. And then just creating, I am a homebody in a sense, but just creating that home wherever we are. So that means, making our morning elixirs, if that whatever that means to you, your coffee, whatever.
My ancient nutrition.
Yes.
Keto
plug
matcha.
it.
There we
Truly.
go.
It's honestly my favorite.
And it's just so beneficial because for me, it's just kind of like a cord that roots me to start the day. And then, wherever we are, I like to do a moving meditation in the morning. So I'll take a walk or I'll be stretching and I'll just put, music that puts me in that state in my ears and just be, I love a slow morning. So if we can make sure we get those 8 hours, but wake up early enough before our first scheduled thing, it's the ideal day. Just, I think throughout the day, I look back on that hour or two, I'm like, oh, I had that today. I'm never feeling lack, if that makes sense. And then we eat plant-based on the road. So that's really, Krista's vegan.
I'm a dirty vegan, though.
She's a dirty vegan, yeah.
I have collagen
and
honey, so don't come at me.
Don't come at her. But it feels really good, and I think it provides just a way for us to be super clear in our thoughts and in our intentions, and gives us just as much energy. And I really enjoy it. And it's nice to see plant-based restaurants popping up all over the country, which is really cool. So it gives us a reason to go out and try those places and see people hopping on that train, because I think it's really important that people are starting to feel better because of the way they're eating.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, Chelsea and I are wired in the same way. We went to New York pretty recently, and I'm like, and probably a little bit overboard, but I love planning. And so, anytime we go anywhere, I, have, hey, here's the dinner spots, here's the lunch spots, here's where we're going to work out. So like last time,
Is she the chill one? Are you the planner and she's like the go along with it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she, so we did like Equinox one day as a workout. And then we did a place in New York. It was some Citizens of Chelsea, which is a great plant-based place, really good. And then we did, the ABC Kitchen in Cochina, which are so good. And we did yoga the next morning. We went with a couple friends of ours and just had a great time. But I love traveling more now than ever because there are so many healthy options. When I first moved to Nashville, this is about maybe 12 years ago, there was nothing.
Wow.
I mean, it was all like comfort Southern food. I mean, it was bad. And I just ate every meal at Whole Foods Market. I mean, pretty much. I mean, now,
Hot bar, baby.
Nashville has become such a sort of this like foodie town. So many people have moved here from LA and Texas and some other areas and opened some really cool, healthy restaurants, at least with some great options. So anyways, we love it. It's just great. It's fun being able to travel and, do your fitness and food thing. And it's great.
Oh, yeah. It's the best.
And I remember, like, I don't know about you, but I mean, when I used to go on vacation or work trips, it would be a complete just disaster, drinking every night, always feeling like I needed to recover from something. And it's really nice to kind of be in this place now where the way I'm living and eating is a recovery always. So it doesn't, I don't know. I don't know why I lived that way for so long, but it was because I was traveling. I'm like, oh, time to go wild. Yeah. And it really was not fun.
Yeah. It's just exhausting.
It's exhausting. You'd come home and like need a vacation again.
Yeah.
That's right.
And we also, I don't drink, and Lindsey drinks sparingly. So us not drinking really also helps us to be clear.
Yeah.
And helps us to have energy that's sustained. And I could not do what we do if I was drinking. I stopped drinking 6 years ago, maybe. And that's when my life really turned around and I was able to really create a life that I love because I wasn't hungover all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing too, looking at, it's hard to go out and drink and then wake up early and do a Soul Cycle or a Bar 3 or a skull or whatever type of class. That's, or you're exhausted the rest of your day and then you're not able to give your best to the people you're around, and it's always hard. So I love that. So when you guys are at home in LA, do you guys live close to each other? Are you guys roommates?
No,
close
we're
to
not
each other?
roommates, but we live close.
You live close?
Yeah.
Well, what do your routines look like? Like daily basis, would love to hear. Do you guys take supplements? What do you guys have for breakfast? What do you guys do for dessert? Just share. What do you guys do?
Dessert after every meal.
There you go.
So I usually get up around 6 a.m. and I have a 432 hertz ringtone. So it's like a very soothing tone.
Okay.
So the
I like that,
432 hertz you can download just on iTunes or anywhere. And that is the frequency of our heart. So when our heart is measured energetically, that is the frequency of our heart. So trying to wake myself up as gently as possible. After that, I will wake up and then I will just sit down right away and write down what I'm dreaming about. I don't really necessarily know if it means anything, but it feels good to get it out of my head, or else I'm kind of thinking about it for the rest of the day and trying to put it all together or make meaning of it. And then I write down my gratitude, my 5 things I'm grateful for. I write down my goals for the day, just 3 goals that I really want to focus on. And those can be really minute or those can be really, high level. But it just feels really good to just connect with myself in a really thoughtful way. I'll meditate for 20 minutes. I just do my own meditation with TM. And then I will make my keto matcha. So after that, I make my keto matcha, which I love from you guys. I'll do an almond milk creamer and then a hot water with apple cider vinegar, usually before that, just for digestive purposes. And then after that, I'm usually off to a workout. I'll walk to my workout, and that will be my time after an hour, probably being up without my phone, where I'll let myself be on my phone while I'm walking, which isn't necessarily ideal, but it feels really good when I'm moving, kind of going through that. And then I'll have phone time before and after the workout, and then it's pretty much done because we're working for the day. So my phone time is pretty much in the morning and then at night when I allow myself. And then within the month, I have Reiki. I do Reiki once a month, which has been really helpful for my energy, and especially for us when we're on the road with so many different people. It's been a really beautiful way for me to have great energetic boundaries and to really balance my energy and understand my energy. And then I do cryotherapy probably once or twice a week.
Wow.
I love cryo. That has been, I'm really pitta, so the fire, whenever the fire is a little bit too high, being very cold has helped with inflammation. It helps with like your skin elasticity. I really love cryotherapy. I'll do a sauna maybe once a month, and then massage once a month. But for the most part, I really just try and focus on, my daily practice in the morning of connection. Meditation will happen in the morning and then at night, and then just being as present as possible.
Cool. I love it. Yeah. Well, what's your, have you guys taken the Enneagram?
Yeah.
Just did it.
Wait, guess.
Guess us.
Oh, man. You talk for a minute and then I'll guess in a minute. I would guess, you are very, there's a good chance you're a 1. Mm-hmm. 1 wing 2, but I don't know for sure.
3-2.
Okay, you're a 3-2. Mm-hmm. I could see that, you being competitive.
What are you?
I am a 8-7.
Okay. Oh. Wow, that's a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
We just actually learned about these and we're just getting into it now.
Mm-hmm. Really
okay, I love it.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, so for me, I wake up around 6:30, depending. I like to give myself that at least an hour before I have to do something, whether it's a workout or meeting. So 6:30, the sun's coming up, which I love. I have this like new little chime that I'm obsessed with that I got in Ojai. It like reflects little rainbows, and rainbows are Krista's little signs. So it was really beautiful, and I just kind of ring it in the morning. I don't know why. I live at a barn or something, but it feels like I'm awake. And then I sit and breathe for about 5 minutes. So taking belly, chest, exhale out the mouth. It's pretty intense first thing in the morning, but it feels like it wakes me up rather than having to hop in a shower right away. I'm not like a morning showerer. So that really wakes me up. And then I like to keep it slow. I'll make my little elixir. I always put collagen in there. Your collagen is the best. Not to plug, but hey. So I like to get that source of protein. And then I'll also have like a super greens drink with water. And that just wakes up my digestion. I just always feel better when I'm able to go before I move on throughout my day. And during that time, I'll just sit on my couch. I'll open my sliding door. I have these beautiful trees and birds that are always talking. So it's just nice to like hear those sounds.
Yeah.
So we live in a city and there's a lot of noise pollution, but I feel so lucky to have that right in my backyard. And it depends on the day. Sometimes I'll automatic write. So that's like just kind of asking my higher self or spirit guides or whatever you believe in, angels, God, a question, anything that's on my heart, and I just write. And it's so funny what comes through. It's me, but not me. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know that was the answer, and it's really beautiful because I think we spend so much time up in our heads and we rarely drop down into our hearts. And I feel like that's what's speaking to me during those times. Or I'll just put on my morning playlist that has a mixture of different songs that just kind of are inspiring, are soothing, and I might move and stretch. Just kind of depends. I just do whatever feels good. And then I'll usually work out around 7:38, and that's either hot yoga, like a hot vinyasa, or if I'm feeling really supercharged, I'll go box, or I'll do heavy lifting and strength training. I'll do the Santa Monica stairs. It just depends. I usually work out according to my cycle. So say
that's smart. I wish more. People were educated on that. I think that's such a great thing.
Well, when we found out about that changed my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I was doing HIIT workouts during the week that I was on my menstrual cycle.
Yeah,
like,
not good.
So bad, actually. It's like the reverse. It'll reverse a lot of things that you want to accomplish through doing a HIIT workout. So I noticed that I had so much energy the week after, and it was really cool. And it gave myself permission to slow down during the weeks that I needed. So yeah, I'll do my workout and I'll come home, get ready. I have by then I'm hungry, so between like 9:30 and 10, I'll have my first meal.
So what do you eat? Give me an example. Like what do you?
So I'll stick to. I like a savory something in the morning and warm. So I actually eat. I'll take a Daily Harvest, which is like they flash freeze fruits and vegetables at their peak freshness. So I love their harvest bowls. They're savory bowls. So my favorite has like spinach, buckwheat, mushrooms, different oils and spices and things like that. And then I'll add avocado. I'll add fresh farm eggs. And it's just like a nice little breakfast bowl. It's quick, it's easy, it's delicious, it's satisfying. The healthy fats really help me in the morning to just hold me over until lunch. Lunch is usually a really hearty salad. If we're in the office, we'll get like a sweet green and really just pack it in. Sometimes we like to saute our salads to sometimes the kale is too hard to digest.
Yep.
So if I don't have digestive enzymes on me or whatever, so we'll saute it and make it like a warm salad.
Yep.
And we're drinking water throughout the day. I'm not the best at hydration, so I kind of have to trick myself. So I'll make it kind of a game. I'll have a certain like water bottle that I want to finish, between a certain amount of time. Or I'll add like a little natural flavoring to it, whether it's lemon, lime, or something else. And I'm playing with my caffeine relationship. So in the morning, I will have like 1 cup of coffee, whether I add adaptogens to it to kind of balance it out. It depends, but I do love the taste of coffee. So I'm just figuring out whether that's okay for me and my skin issues and things like that. So, and then by the afternoon and throughout the day, it's hard for me to focus sometimes. So I'm really learning why and what that means. And so I really thrive when I take short breaks of just looking at the sky.
I'm wired the same way.
And it's great because Krista's so good at focused work, and I really, I've learned so much working with her in that way. But then I've also given myself a little bit of grace, being like, hey, do you need to like walk outside for a minute so that you can come back and do better work?
Yeah.
Or, so I'm learning how to do that. And then the other piece that I've just allowed myself to do recently, I sing. And so usually I just feel like the need to like sing or write, like songwriting, whatever, even if it's just for 15 minutes and getting it out, I feel so much better. And I don't necessarily have to show anyone, do anything, perform anything. It's just the act of doing that creative thing that kind of wants to come through helps me for some reason. And it feels really, really good. So just giving myself permission to do that. And then, when dinner rolls around, it's probably around 7 by that time. And I'm either cooking or I'm going to the Erewhon Hot Bar.
Oh, man. I'm actually going to Erewhon here pretty soon, and the one in Santa Monica.
Yes.
It's great. It's so great. They have that cauliflower that they do as like
the buffalo cauliflower.
Oh, my gosh.
It's the best.
It's so
with
good.
like a rice flour or
Go
whatever.
to LA.
That's right.
The best.
It
makes Whole Foods
so good. Look bad.
Erewhon is amazing. Erewhon is one of my favorite health food
You're a
stores
star at
on the
Erewhon.
planet.
Sure.
So good. So good. Last time I was there, they did this, they have like this drink. It's like a lion's mane, coffee or a chagachino. Like all those things they have are so darn good. So what's your Enneagram, Lindsey?
So I'm a 9-1.
Okay. Wow. I was going to guess a 1-9 actually, but you're
really?
a 9-1.
I need
Yeah.
to look
So
up
you
what a
don't like
1 is.
conflict.
No.
You can as a 9.
No.
Yeah. 9s are like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to be part of.
Yeah, I don't like conflict.
And ones are
But I was
perfect.
like,
and
I don't
What if you're like, I love conflict?
and the ones are the perfectionists.
I have a perfectionist inside of me, and it shows up in interesting ways. It's not perhaps what you would think. I think it's like that inner perfectionist with always kind of being hypercritical of how I'm operating in the world, not necessarily in the things that I'm doing out here. It's more of like that inner stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm obsessed with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So question for you both. Chelsea and I talked about this recently. What if you guys could only eat at one fast food restaurant and it was healthy for you for the rest of your life? What fast food restaurant would you pick? I'll share it. Chelsea picked, and I've never been to this place. Her mom grew up in Orange County, California, and for her it was In-N-Out Burger.
Oh wow.
And for me it was Chick-fil-A. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think?
I actually used to get down on Chick-fil-A when I lived in Ohio.
That's right.
That was my spot in high school. I would get the grilled chicken sandwich all the time. That's when I was eating meat. So I actually loved Chick-fil-A, and I love that they're so kind. I love they say my pleasure. I love that I love the whole vibe. So I might say Chick-fil-A. This is kind of disgusting, and I might get judged. I used to love Taco Bell.
Wow.
I know.
Man, way to go for it.
I know.
Wow.
I went all the way
Way to go for the cat meat.
Yeah, literally. So I might say that.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean,
Wow.
In-N-Out, I felt like is over. I love Chelsea, but I feel like it's overrated.
oh, I've only had the fries, and I like them.
We're going to get comments on both ends. Like, yeah, you're
I
right.
know,
There's going to be a
totally.
few people that are going to be
They're
so
gonna be
offended
like,
by
I
you
didn't
saying
know
that.
Taco Bell would come on this podcast.
That's right.
I have to say Burger King.
Yeah.
I used to. My mom would bring us every week, at least once a week, double cheeseburger, no pickle, large Sprite, large fry,
Wow.
or
Wow.
BK broiler with no mayo.
BK broiler.
Yeah, I got healthier. I went to the grilled chicken.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I love me some Burger King. That was like a good memory.
Now, yeah, I was thinking about a few others I would have. Do you guys ever go to Long John Silver's?
Yes.
Oh wow, no.
I mean, again,
Popeyes, have you heard the Popeyes biscuits?
no.
Oh my God.
Boston Market?
So I'll share, and not to. So the last time I ate Chick-fil-A was I remember I was 21 years old. It was 17 years ago. So it's kind of crazy. But
I can
I had a
actually
chicken
remember.
sandwich with waffle fries and I think Polynesian or whatever that sauce is. It was.
Oh, that sounds
Heaven.
really good.
Isn't that? I think about that often because we never had fast food growing up. My parents were very against it. I remember one time I got a McDonald's burger, and I remember where I was, what I was wearing, what I was doing when I ate it, and I was like, that is how powerful that food is in your brain. Like you can remember 7 years ago eating that food and think people eat it all the time. Like it's a drug. Like, it's so palatable. It's like a drug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, not to credit you, 17.
17 years
And
ago.
because people will be like, oh, and
Sorry.
then the other one, my dad and I after like sporting events, we'd go to Arby's and get 5 for $5. And I think now
What
I'm
is
like,
that?
I ate 5 sandwiches at a time. Like we didn't even split them. Like I ate 5 myself.
Oh my God.
So
My boyfriend Justin, after I was like, our kids aren't going to have fast food, right?
Yeah.
I hope you're okay with it. And he's like, I had the best time having a burger with my dad after the game. We always had a pizza and a burger. And I'm like, you can still be a good dad and not give them fast food after a game, right? Like, you know that. And he like associates like joy of after games with that food too. I'm like, we're not going to do that.
it's so great. Just so great.
So great.
But I also think too, like if you're living a super healthy life normally, and then like if I were to have Burger King tomorrow, I might not feel the best,
Yeah.
but the recovery, it's I think I could enjoy it and just move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I'll share that. There's certain things I think I could probably have a sandwich from a place and do just fine.
Yeah.
If I went to Dairy Queen and tried to have a Blizzard,
See you later.
my gut would be messed up for a
Diarrhea.
week at least.
Did you? We had this place in Ohio. It's called like the Cone. It was like a giant cone. Me and my dad would go all the time.
yes.
And they were called Wizards.
Yes.
And I used to eat one like once or twice a week. And it's just funny now because that stuff like, and that's with when I went vegetarian years ago, like people were like, oh, just have bacon, like, and it's not even a restrictive thing. After a while, you don't crave it.
That's right.
It's not even in your world.
Yeah.
Fast food isn't even in my universe. So it's like, you never crave it. You're just kind of like, yeah, like I would be sick probably.
Yeah.
Like you'd be like, ugh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I want to encourage everybody, check out the Almost 30 podcast. And where can people find you online?
Yeah, so you can follow us on Instagram. We're really active on there at Almost30 Podcast. And you can listen to the Almost 30 podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. And we have a secret Facebook group where
secret.
Tens of thousands of women in there just talking every day about anything and everything, asking for advice, supporting one another, laughing. Just, it's a really, really beautiful, bright spot on the internet, I feel like. And we're on tour, so we're touring the world. Almost30podcast.com.
And you have a list of those places.
Tour.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's on the website.
Almost30podcast.com/tour.
Yeah. And we're really excited. We are so passionate about podcasting and it's changed our lives. And we know that there are so many people out there that want to, bring their voice and their message to the airwaves and lift people up on there. So we started Your Podcast Pro, which is our baby. It's a place where people can find resources and courses to help them start, grow,
love
brand, market, and monetize their podcast. So it's a passion of ours to help people realize that dream.
I love it. Well, hey, thanks so much. And it's always good having some Midwesterners here. I got to do this because I rarely have people from Ohio on here just to see OH.
OH, baby. IO.
There we go.
IO.
There we go. That was it. So, all right. Well, hey, thanks so much for being on. Thanks, everybody, for listening in and watching. And we'll be back soon with another show. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
This podcast is for information purposes only. Statements and views expressed in this podcast are not medical advice and have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. In some cases, individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein.